Welcome to Acharya Shunya's Global Satsang. Acharya Shunya is a modern teacher of non-dual Advaita Vedanta philosophy from the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, the lived practices of Vedic yoga, and the transformative knowledge of Ayurveda lifestyle wisdom. Her teaching changes lives, enabling happiness, well-being, and spiritual abundance. For seekers of the ultimate truth, of the sovereign self. Acharya Shunya is a Vedic wisdom holder of an ancient lineage. She received traditional training under her guru, Baba Ayodhya Nath, in Ayodhya, India. Baba tasked Acharya Shunya to bring these teachings to the modern world. As a teacher who has walked this Vedic path from darkness to light, from emotional bondage to spiritual freedom, Acharya Shunya is uniquely able to dynamically communicate these ancient subtle teachings to modern students. We welcome you to begin your journey of Vedic studentship with these monthly classes. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Vedic Contemplations Facebook group for ongoing study with Acharya Shunya.
Welcome to my global classroom. And today, because in that part of the world where I live, a festival celebrating love is coming up. It's called Valentine's Day. And I received questions from my students on Shunya, what is love? And how can I really be in a state of love for myself and for people around me? Sometimes I feel that love, sometimes it's easy, especially when I'm receiving something positive in terms of a vibration from the other. But at other times, it just disappears, kaput, gone. And instead of love, I feel hatred. And there is so much that we hear about. For example, one popular message is, love yourself. But I have so many issues. I'm lazy, I'm addicted, I have things that I have to overcome. Then how do I love myself? And if I start loving myself, will I get complacent? And then I am also hearing about, so says a student, about offering unconditional love to another, which means accepting them as they are. That is a state of love. How can I do that when people have wronged me, when people have hurt me? So this whole issue of love has become an issue. Love has become a riddle. It is something that drives us. All our songs, our movies, our literature, and even our spiritual momentum is driven by love. Love towards God. Love towards a person who can sexually satisfy us. Love towards, innocent children and animals. So love is something that's driving us, and yet we are confused about love. Would you agree? So I wanted to take that time to talk to you. I have students sitting here who are helping me come to you live, and then I'm sure there are people who are on the other side who are receiving this these teachings from my soul live, and then you might join me in the future. So welcome all of you. My name is Acharya Shunya. Shunya is my name, Acharya is my title, which means a teacher in the Vedic tradition. And I would like to to you about love because this was something that I had a breakthrough with many years ago. In fact, I'll be reading you some of my writings that I wrote to me on love. And this is from many years ago, 25 years ago maybe. And it was my heart that filled up with love for all beings, but not before I could feel the love for myself. And then it started spreading everywhere. That changed me. So I feel like I had started writing a book called The Yoga of Love. and I'm feeling now kind of inspired to complete it. So I feel a little more competent to talk to you about love because I have become more familiar with love. And I'm not so blocked with love for myself and for other beings. There's definitely been a journey. I'm not saying it happened like in a moment, but it's definitely been my journey. And I think it is a journey of all of us. When we really move from unconsciousness to consciousness, really what we are allowing is love. What we are flowing is love. What we are receiving is love. What we are giving is love. So if you remove all the Sanskrit jargon, if you remove all the technical words, even you remove spirit, God, all these amazing concepts, what remains is love. So perhaps some of our discussion would be, what is love? How is it connected to self when the self doesn't feel that great all the time? And how can I move it to other beings? That is another thing. How do I feel it? How do I flow it? And how do I touch it in my life? And what will it do for me? What is love then? What love is a state of being. It's a state of being which is very close to who you are at your source. And who are you at your source then? Is the question. For that, we have to go to certain teachers to understand what is our source. Why would we go to certain teachers? So, the ancient Vedic tradition of which I am a teacher, the Veda means to know, not to be ignorant anymore. So Veda comes from the root word Ved, and I'm a teacher of the Vedas. And in the Vedas, whenever we have a question, and our question is, what is our source? What is deep inside us, beyond the body, beyond the mind? There is something more that seems to observe both of them. And it says, my body, my mind, and what is this my? I want to know. How do we know? So there are ways of knowing, says the Veda. One way is that you can see. So it is known as pratyaksha pramana, that which you can perceive with your senses. I can perceive with my external senses, my body. I can perceive with my internal senses, my thought waves, my ideas. But I cannot perceive the perceiver. So clearly, I cannot use my senses to know me. Who is this my in my body, my mind, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my heart? My heart is full of love. My heart is full of not love. Who is this my? You cannot use pratyaksha pramana. Then the sages of the ancient Vedas say there is another way to know, and that is known as anumana pramana or inference. You can conclude something. So you can probably deduct that because I can see smoke, there must be a fire. So we can definitely come closer and say, because there is someone that seems to be observing the body, observing the breath, observing the thoughts, observing the emotions, observing the feelings, but is not that, because the basic law is you can't be what you're observing. There has to be a distance between subject and object. So the body and mind are objects of experience of something else that is a subject, which is probably the true source of who you are. Then the third way of knowing, according to the ancient seers, is known as aptavakya. Apta are special beings. Aptas are the seers who have purified their minds and their hearts, and their consciousness has become elevated to become one with the universe. It is said that these aptas are sarvagnya. They have complete knowledge. They are sumukha sarvabhutanam. That is why they feel oneness towards all beings and all creatures and all things, because they realize an essential unity of everything. They have dhir vidya vayashila dhairya smriti samadhi vihi vridhopasevano vriddhaha. Sarvagnya Gatavithaha. It is said for these special seers of the Vedas, the knowledge givers, that they have dhi, they have intelligence, wisdom, they have buddhi, they know how to utilize it. They have memory, not just of this one lifetime, but of all lifetimes. They have aged in their body, but more importantly, they have aged in their emotions and in their understanding. They have maturity. And how have they aged? They have aged by learning from a teacher, Vridhopasevino. So they are not roaming around in the world with questions. They are part of a parampara or a tradition of knowledge givers. The teacher has had a teacher in their past who has guided them, who has had a teacher in their past. And because of knowledge of everything, they are gatavetaha. They have become sorrow-free. They are peaceful. They are full of love. They will tell us a few things, and that is known as vakya. Their teachings we can trust. Because they are not teaching us to make quick money. They are not teaching us to, embellish themselves somehow. They are sitting and giving us knowledge. They have given knowledge of the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Ayurveda teachings, the yoga teachings, which are alive till today. They have truth in them. So an Apta Vakya that I want to teach you about, we are going to look at what is this inner source. So we are going to believe in the Veda. And the Veda says that you do have a real you. There is a you, a true self that has a body, has a mind, has senses, has relatives, has possessions. But it is not that. And that is its only job is to be a witness and observer of all of this. And it is known as Atma. And Atma is defined as Apanoti Sarvam iti Atma, which means your true self is boundless. And it is boundless in what? In love. In fact, God or self in the Vedas is known as the God of love. Self is defined as the God of love in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, which are the later section of the Vedas. Upanishads are not different. They are the later section of the Vedas. And Bhagavad Gita is not different. It is one of the Upanishads. I just say it like that, Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. But they are all one, the Veda. And they have been given by Aptas, these amazing beings that once walked the earth, these seers. And they told us that your true source is Atma. And it is the God of love. It is nothing but love. It has bliss in it. It is pure awareness. And now we're going to explore. So the source of love is not in the mind, not in the body, but in the true you. And because the body and the mind belong to you, you can, through pure awareness, flow love to your mind and to your body. You can do that. So when you do that, you become childlike. You become as if bathed in your own boundlessness. Whenever you have, for lack of better words, fallen in love, I don't like to fall in love. I like to grow in love, be love. But say you've had a moment of falling in love, and if you had to describe that moment when you had that crush or that love, I'd like to see some hands. Isn't that experience makes you feel boundless? Yes? That's why we love our lover, because they make us feel boundless, because without that lover, we feel constricted, limited, and reminded of all the things that bound us. But the moment we see our lover, we feel unbounded. Similarly, say you love cheesecake, then when you eat cheesecake, you feel unbounded. So love has a connection with unboundedness, yes or no? If you agree, then write yes. We are going somewhere. I'm taking you down a path. This is the way of the Vedic teaching. We don't put everything, boom, in your face and let you figure it. We take you one by one by one. It's a very careful, constructed understanding. When you reach that understanding, it's crystal clear. And that understanding will lead you back to you. So what we are trying to tell you, first of all, is what I'm trying to establish without my prior notes in front of me, from my pure experience, that it is you who is the source of unbounded love. But it gets reflected back to you because you've forgotten it's inside you. Occasionally, some person, some animal, some food, something may remind you, and you begin flowing it, yes or no. Yes, you do. Therefore, I can say to you, first and foremost, that yourself and love have a direct connection. I'd like to read you from an Upanishad. I would like to read to you from the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. Aranyaka means the forest, and Brihad means the big forest. So these were teachings that are happening deep inside a forest. And there was a sage known as Apta, a sage known as Yagnavalkya. And he had 2 wives. Now you would think, how can a seer have 2 wives? Isn't he supposed to be celibate and have nothing to do with sex and being a householder? But these were all later teachings that became popular in India. In ancient India, and this is what the Veda, the vision of the Veda and Ayurveda is, that you lead a full life. No part of your body, including your sexual organ, is sinful or an unnecessary appendage, that God somehow forgot to remove. You can have, back in those days, it all depends. You can have 1 wife, 2 wives, 5 wives, 10 wives. It all depends on the social climate. And back then, as long as you had love to feel, give, and reciprocate back, it was okay. So he had 2 wives, and their names were Maitreyi. One was Maitreyi, and the other, was, forgetting her name, Katyayani. So there are stages of a seer's life, and one stage is where you live as a householder. But then when you have completely completed all your dharmas, all your duties as a householder, you take permission from your spouse and say, may I now live in a different ashrama. It is known as sannyasa ashrama, where may I live alone, And so we begin with a conversation, and I want to read this conversation to you. And it goes like this. Yagnavalkya says to his wife Maitreyi, Maitreyi, I'm resolved to renounce the world and begin the life of sannyasa, renunciation. I wish therefore to divide whatever I have between you and Katyayani, the other wife. Maitreyi says, my lord, if this whole earth belonged to me, with all its wealth, should I through it possess immortality? Would I attain it? Yagnavalkya says, no. Your life would be like that of a rich and prosperous person. But you cannot possibly attain immortality or knowledge of your true self through wealth. Then Maitreyi says, then what need have I of wealth and your property and your possessions? Please, my lord, tell me what you know about the way to the self, which is immortal. Then Yagnavalkya says, dear, to me you have always been Maitreyi, and now you ask to learn the truth of truth, which is nearest to my heart. Come, sit by me. I will explain it to you, and then you meditate on what I tell you. And then he says, Atmanastu kamai sarvam priyam bhavati. The most profound statement on love spoken 5,000 years ago by a great sage to his wife who had newly become his disciple. And he said, Atmanastu kamai sarvam priyam bhavati, which it means we all, due to the love of the self, are able to love others. It is not for the sake of the husband, my beloved, that the husband is dear, but for the sake of the self in the husband. What he's trying to explain is this boundless self in you, which is full of love, also dwells in you, also dwells in you, also dwells in you, also dwells in you, also dwells in your enemy, also dwells in everyone. Every living creature shares the same self. So when you feel the love for the person that you had fallen for, you think you are loving them, but you are loving that same boundless self in them. You don't know this, but he's bringing the focus back from the body and the mind and their personality to the self. It is not for the sake of the wife, my beloved, that the wife is dear, but for the sake of the self that the wife is dear. It is not for the sake of the children, my beloved, that the children are dear, but for the sake of yourself that is in their self, that they are dear. It is not for the sake of wealth, my beloved, that wealth is dear, but for the sake of the self that is shining through even the material wealth. It is not for the sake of anything, even God. We are really worshipping them for our own self. So therefore, Maitreyi, it is important for you to hear about the self, reflect upon it, meditate upon it, because there is nothing more beloved to us than our own self. Now, I shall continue explaining. If you are with me, if the Upanishads have quizzed, have ignited your questions, have ignited your curiosity, then let me explain. There are two types of love. Okay. There is the love for the goal, for the object, and then there is the love for the tool that leads you to the object. For example, you may want wealth in your life. Therefore, you love your partner because the partner's 401k plan, pension, salary, endowment allows you to be rich. If the partner, so therefore the partner is not who you love, you are loving the partner because they are a tool to what you really love, which is wealth. Does that make sense? So there is love of the tools. Sometimes we have people in our life, they merely act as tools. I'm going to talk about human love now. They are merely tools to what you love. You love vacation, you love good sex, you love to have the title of being married, you love many things, and they are tools to that. If they are unable to provide us what we really love, which is the goal of our love, which is known as sadhya in Sanskrit, may be different from the tool to our love, which is known as sadhanam. So when the tool is no longer able to give us the money, the vacation, the good sex, the social status, then our love changes, yes or no. So this is known as the love of tools. And we should be very clear. We can have it, but we should be very clear that it is a second quality love. In fact, the Upanishad even says it is false love. Because let's be real, I love wealth, I love vacation, I love a social status, I love something else. So therefore, say we have a person that we love as a tool to something else. That's an inferior love. But what if that person is our goal? If we love that person for who they are, this is definitely an advanced love. Would you agree? This is definitely something where we can say, we do see qualities of love within us. For example, sometimes we can see that in a mother. A mother, whether their child is deserving or not, worthy or not, working hard to be worthy or not, a mother will go on flowing love to the child. We have seen that. That same mother with her partner may not be able to flow that love. For the partner, the mother's love would be the partner is a tool. Tool of, are you looking after my child or not? Are you paying us enough so that I can be a good mother or not? So she may have differences with the partner because the partner's love is a tool love. But with a child, we have often seen that the mother's love is unconditional. Why? Because the child is the goal of the mother. Am I making sense? Deep conversations on love don't happen with a Hallmark card. Deep conversations on love happen when we are willing to see, oh yeah, my love with my best friend, who I say I love you, is really only until she can gossip with me. And the day she becomes Acharya Shunya student and stops gossiping, I don't love her anymore. Why? Because I really loved gossiping. But if you really, really loved your friend, then whether she gossips or doesn't, whether she's under transition, you will love her. And in humans, we can see that in mother. Often with our animals also, we have unconditional love. They are not just tools for entertainment, but they are, whether they are young and puppy-like or whether they are old and they are leaking urine on the carpet, we will take care of them. A lot, not every time, often. But then we might meet some people and you know all about them. They will not take care of their aging animals. They will abandon them. When they move house, they move without thinking what will happen to their animals. Why? Because the animal was only a tool for their recreation or their entertainment. So, do you love the earth? Well, if it's a tool for you to have pleasure, then you will abuse it, you will rob it, you will pollute it, you will not recycle. But if you love earth as a goal, then you will recycle, you will work against, you'll work so that it's less polluted. You will personally feel responsible, even every time you take a flight in air. When I fly, I feel like, what am I doing? So gradually in my life, I'm just going to stay in one place. So at least there is a sense of accountability because you love something. So first be clear, because when you're really clear, then you know. Then you won't have this amorphous idea of love. And you can move your love from being a tool to being a goal. Then I read the Upanishad for you. And Apta is saying something else. Yajnavalkya is a seer and Apta. Somebody whose words are the law. He's saying, actually, you don't love the dog. You don't love your son even though if it's unconditional love. You don't know this, but you are loving you through your son. You are loving you through your dog. You are loving you through your earth. Because the self alone is the source of all love. And it is the self reflected in the dog, in the earth, in this universe, behind every eye, behind every leaf, behind even a little speck of dust, there is nothing but that one self which is boundless, cannot be contained in one body. So when, say you were, then the highest love, a third type of love is, say you became familiar with this common self. And the place that is very familiar to you, whether you've studied Sanskrit or not, is right here. Yes or no? You are closest to yourself. In fact, you love yourself, even your crazy self, so much. You think, you say, I love God, I love Ganesha, I love Jesus. And I love God in such a divine way. I'm the ultimate devotee. But I've heard of so many devotees get mad with God when God didn't take care of their self. So self comes first, even God comes second. So this is a cue that you have something in you that's demanding your attention. What if you learned about a self and you started seeing that same self And because of that, Jesus could say, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing, when people were throwing stones at him. This is why Buddha could be Buddha, though his cousin, his good friend, his devotee tried to attack him. This is why Krishna could be Krishna, though people who lived during Lord Krishna's time when he sang the sermon of the Bhagavad Gita, there were many who didn't think he was a worthy king, a worthy friend, a worthy teacher, or least of all, an incarnation of Vishnu, and they called him various names. But that didn't disturb these people. They continued to see and give love, and even teach how to win in war, go to a holy war, not from hatred and bitterness, but from love. Am I making sense to you? Or is this too complicated? So 3 types of love. One is where you think you love someone, but they're really a tool to what you love. Better than that is when they are not a tool for you to benefit anything else. You love them for what they are, how they are. Much better. And the third one is you get to the deep, deep end of it. And you go, oh my God, I am the Lord of Self. I am the goddess, God and Goddess of Self right here. If love is right here, myself. And this self is everywhere. Now we're talking. Because now you can reach a place of universal love. So therefore, then this third state, we can say that oneness is equal to love. Would you agree? Any sense of separation then is lessening of that love. And in that radical oneness, there is room for imposters, there is room for humiliators, there is room for fools, there is room for drunkards, there is room for people who have been really bad to you. Because underlying all of that is love. Now, I went in my own personal journey, and I might be one of those rare spiritual teachers who didn't say I was born here. I'm going to say I went through these 3 steps. Where in my own life, I went from thinking that I loved people, but they were really tools for my comfort, my pleasure, my joy, for wanting things to be the way they were, to loving people as they are, to then loving them because they are a reflection of my own self. This is the most stable place because nobody loves themselves. Nobody loves anyone the way they love themselves. And if this self can be in my student, and I have a student sitting in front of me, and if I can say to you, I love you because I love myself in you, you can then be reassured. Now, you may misbehave at some point. I might correct you at some point because I am your teacher. And you have agreed that you are my disciple. I don't go around correcting everyone. But you have agreed. Shunyaji, show me the way. I may correct you. But my correction will have love. Because I cannot remove myself from you. In fact, if I didn't know that myself dwells in you, I might not correct you. I might be very sweet to you. I might be so diplomatic with you. But truth comes with self. Honesty comes with self. Protection comes with self. Caring comes with self. Caring so much to show the way. Caring enough to say, where are you going? Caring enough to say, where you are going, you will be hurt. Only a mother does that to a child. Neighbor's mom doesn't come and tell your child, what are you doing? What are you thinking? It is because the mother is fully connected to the son or the daughter that the mother sometimes have to be Saraswati, give wisdom, Durga, give power, Rati, give love, Parvati, give nurturance, and Kali, show them thunder. It comes from love. So when love is there, and when the knowledge of the self is there, then you see there is no manipulation. So we can definitely go from a place of loving people as tools to loving people as goals to loving people as our own self. This is the journey. And this is what he was saying, that nobody really loves the husband for the husband. Deep down, we don't know this. You don't have to study Sanskrit or Upanishads. Deep down, the reason we love is because that same self is sparking in the other person. And that is why when we don't love someone, has that happened to you? When you're really mad at someone and you have built up a whole argument against someone and how they are, in America, I hear the word badass, and how they are, what are some of the other terms? They're like losers and, connivers. We have all these words for them. But our physical body starts ailing. And our mind doesn't feel peaceful, divine anymore. Because in all this, you are that, and you are this, and you are that, there is a part of ourself that we are pushing away. And this is where I'm coming to a place of being in love where we can be more accommodating. We can have kinds of boundaries, but they all have to have a substratum of love. Because even when somebody is really, really hurt you, cheated you, maligned you, even those words are like, there's all those dark things they've done to you. Can you, after this satsang, if you've contemplated, come back to a place of love plus boundaries, love plus a call to 911, love plus a divorce, plus filing a divorce, love plus whatever else you need to do. That action is combined with love. Because what you love is the self in them. What you are condoning is their ego, their mind. And you're not just dividing up the world, breaking up that unity consciousness, which is love, which is boundless, into, I hate them, they are despicable, they are losers, they are not worth it, and I'm going to live in a world with these really hard boundaries. This is where the difference between a person who knows and who doesn't know. The path of the Veda is to know. In my own life, I've had people who have, shared a positive, loving relationship with me for years. And then there are some who don't, who fall away, who change. And I've had a gamut of emotions, explanation, clarification, anger, telling them what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. But what remains behind still, because of this knowledge that the self in me and the self in the other is the same, there is a part of me that continues to flow love towards that person. And this is where, as I flow love towards me, in the person who I no longer talk to, that part of the love is back to me because the self is the same. That is why Buddha could be at peace. That is why Krishna is Krishna. That is why the great seers were powerful people. Now, when I teach about love, I don't teach things like, oh, just love all, just forgive all, because you can't love all in a material sense. In a spiritual sense, yes. But in a transactional sense, you might have to apply 4 strategies. So now I'd like to talk to you about the 4 strategies for love and war. They're the same. One is known as friendship. Easy, easy peasy. That's another word my son used to say. Easy peasy, mom. Easy peasy. You move the love, you get the love, you're feeling it, you've moved from being the tool to to being the goal, and you know they are a reflection of yourself, and you feel it when your kitten comes and looks at you and you go, oh my God, you're not just a tool, I love you for who you are, in fact my self lives in you. Or you feel it right there. It's easy peasy. This is known as the state of samabhava. But sometimes you are asked that people may not behave exactly in that easy peasy manner. But you must understand that we are all learning, we are all growing, and they may not have a connection with their own self. So they have misbehaved in a certain way. They've been mischievous. They are not, but you still give them, you keep flowing love towards them. You give them chances. This is known as dana bhava, or you are charitable with your love. Have you done that? Mothers have done it. Mom, I won't do it again. They do it again. Sorry, Mom, I won't do it again. They do it again. Yes, we have some moms sitting here, yeah? Charitable. Aren't we charitable with our partners? Can we be charitable some more with some other people? Can we be charitable state of mind? Then you are asked, maybe you have to have Bheda Bhava, which means you can experience love for them, but you don't actually go out to lunch with them. But can you bring separation, but it is mindful separation. It is not anger, bitter, separation. It is like, this person is not having it together. They're disconnected from their inner boundless love. They are unable to flow love to me and the world. Why don't I kind of keep a little judicious distance from them? Even if you live in the same house, you have some emotional distance. You don't get so engaged and riled up all the time. It's not just physical distance. We are all so quick to move out and get our own apartment. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about living in the same space, but having this Bheda Bhava, which means where you are keeping an emotional disengagement. You're giving them space to be a bit unloving towards you and themselves ultimately. While you continue to flow love, and love doesn't mean rescue behavior, codependent behavior. You could even be doing your own thing, but every thought of you is, oh, may the self in me, the self in them, which is the self in me, have a better experience through that unit of mind and body. That's it. And finally, the Bhagavad Gita gives us the permission to even have danda bhava, which means you may even need to punish someone for a certain behavior, unethical behavior. Like a judge has to tell somebody, I'm going to imprison you because you were selling drugs to high schoolers, So we do have to sometimes punish people to say, you know what, your punishment is, like in my case, sometimes I have to say to a student, your punishment is that I'm no longer your teacher. That's an ultimate punishment for a student. My punishment is that you're no longer someone that, but I come to that place very rarely. But even then, Lord Krishna didn't teach that after that you become this person who is like broken, bitter, sending them curses all the time, because you are really only cursing yourself. So these 4 ways of behaving, because the Vedas were always teaching practical life, and they were teaching the ultimate life, because we are incarnated spirit. We can't just be humans. We have to be spirit plus humans all the time. And love is the language of spirit. When we know that our true source is boundless love, we can close our eyes. Go ahead. Close your eyes and just think that what does love do for you? In fact, this love gives you permission to truly be divine. Right now, as you close your eyes, your mind, your senses, your body, They're a little bit at rest. You've mindfully chosen to close your eyes and contemplate upon the God and Goddess of love in your heart, which is your soul. If that's your true nature, really you don't know this, but it is this love for which you have come to transact. First, you must know it within you. Then you must see it in the eyes of the person who you're looking at. And you have to look past the eyes with confusions, with anger, with hatred. Your love has to become so potent. And then at some point, this love you will find everywhere reverberating. You might think this love comes from some remote God. You might think the love comes from my guru. You might think the love comes from this cheesecake. But actually, if you think about it, it's all flowing from you. See if you can flow this love to every cell of your body. You are not broken-hearted. Nobody has taken away your love because it's right there. It's like the sun is flowing its light through everything. There are some crystals that can completely pass the light through, and there are some dense rocks that cannot, but they are still submerged in light. Similarly, your love is flowing from you. There are some people in your life who are receiving it and moving it forward. They are like those clear crystals. And there are some people from which the light is seemingly not entering, but it is, because it is a spiritual light. You don't know this, that the people who are dark and depressed and deranged are really alive because of the love you are flowing to them. And there are few people in this world, it might be a handful, who are flowing universal love. It's because of them that we wake up in the morning. If there is anything you can give to this world, then it is the knowledge that you are love. You are not a beggar of love. You can share this love. There are two laws my soul wants to share with you. One law is give love first, because you own it. You have it. You are love. You are the God of love, the Goddess of love. Flow it first, don't wait. Love is not necessarily have to be vocal, but love will make you more accommodating, more forgiving, more allowing, more soft, less keeping of records, lighter, gracious, accepting. This is the law. First, give it. Law number 2. When it comes back 1,000 times increased, accept it. This is nothing but the truth, because as you flow love towards all parts of yourself, like you want to flow nutrition to all parts of your body, you don't want your little toe left out. Similarly, you don't realize this, your soul lives in every being. The more you can flow this love towards every being, your big being becomes healed and whole. And the transaction, what you transact, is love. Be love, give love, and allow love to come back to you. This love will come back to you. You don't know this. This is why when Buddha was being Buddha, he was being pure love. He was walking through the forest, and a crazy deranged brain, mind, known as Angulimala came. He wanted to kill Buddha. He wanted to make a garland of Buddha's fingers, and he was a pathological character. And he raised his sword to kill Lord Buddha. But in that moment, his eyes fell upon the eyes of Buddha. Who knew that on this planet I may meet some crazy people? But he didn't be crazy back. What he flowed towards this person was compassion, love. And in that chance encounter of Lord Buddha's eyes, that deranged criminal saw his own self full of love. And he fell at his feet and said, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I'm now going in your Sharanam, in your protection. I have noticed in my own life, in my own journey, as you come back from your closed eyes, come back. I noticed in my own life, I thought I had people who were my enemies. Maybe I didn't think that word enemies, that's a big word, but these are my people, those are not my people. At least we all make up that much. But I realize that due to old karmic impressions, faulty learning from past lifetimes, which my teacher, my Baba, helped me unknot and flow away, I had made these assumptions. And the more genuine love, not false love, the more genuine love I flowed towards that person, the more love I could feel for my own true self, for my being, for everything felt happier and healthier. I'm talking about genuine love. So therefore, I will take a break now. When I come back, I want to talk about what is that one dharma value that you can employ? What are maybe two dharma values that you can employ as an act of love towards people who are hurting you? There are two dharma values that we can employ. And we'll then also talk about how can you love yourself now when you're not happy with yourself. We have discussed in a prior part of the series that love is of three kinds. One is when we love someone because they are a tool, a pathway to what we really love. So if we love wealth, we may think we love our husband or our wife, but only because they're a source of wealth for us. The day they are not able to provide us that, we become moody and angry and we withdraw our love. We should try to move beyond this stage to where we love someone as the goal of love. So we must love our partner or whoever we are saying that we love them for who they are, for their journey. That will bring within us more understanding, more compassion, and more acceptance. So that will make our love more pure. It won't just be our ego using the love card to love or not, or withdraw love, to love someone or to withdraw love. But that's what happens in day-to-day life. Most of us, we experience that. Even as a teacher, sometimes I have students who profess their love for me, but they love me only so long as I can pay attention to them, answer their questions, handhold their journey. And the moment my attention moves to another student or some other project and they feel neglected, then they feel moody and upset and angry and they act it out in different ways. So this is all happening. It's not just you or me. This is the human way. And the beautiful Vedas illumine us how to not get caught in its trap and how not to believe in it right away, that somebody says, I love you. Well, really, do they? And are they really loving you as a complete human being who has their vulnerabilities, their limitations, their needs and their own shadow to deal with? Can they really love you? And then love means, can they be there for you? Can they accommodate you? Can they, not drop you or curse you when it doesn't work out for them? Can they really love you? So that's second way, is to love someone as a goal. For example, the way a mother loves a child, more often than not, a mother will not, not withdraw her love. She may say so, I've stopped loving you, but she can't. That is why most cultures all humanity upholds a mother's love, right? A third love is of a very high kind, and that's what's really happening. But the Upanishads reveal it to us that really the source of love is our own self. That is why we love ourselves. That is why we feel we deserve love. That is why we feel unhappy if we are not loved. And then we are told that this same self is what is living in everyone you encounter. It's a common self. So really there are different parts of you wearing different masks. You are encountering you in the arena of life. And the self in you is spread out in all of them. So you may show people, you may be friends with them, you may be generous with them and give them forgiveness or accommodation, you may be a bit nonchalant and separate from them, emotionally disengaged. You may even have to punish them or show them a boundary or forbid them into your home or whatever way that punishment goes. But you shouldn't stop loving that aspect of their self. So you should keep praying for them, keep a light for them lit in your heart, and you should not believe in this world of bad people and nasty people. Just, we're all caught up in this samsara, in this world, a wheel of birth and death. We're all 7 billion of us and lots of creatures stuck in this planet, in the middle of nowhere, which gets its life and source from a gaseous energy called the source, called the sun, and we're all here playing games with each other. What is going on here? So don't just get all caught up in hating people and liking people and crying for love, where you became a tool for someone, then you make someone else a tool. Let's just stop all this. Let's go into the deep self. To go into the deep self, you have to find teachers of the Vedas and study with them where you can. You can study the Bhagavad Gita if possible, where in Bhagavad Gita the self is taught. And so the more you hear about the self, it's like you have some amnesia. If you have amnesia, you go to a doctor's office and the doctor shows you a lot of hints of who you are. In the same way, a Vedic Acharya gives you a lot of hints that you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're the self. And knowledge of the self is knowing the self. It's like when you have knowledge, you will start remembering who you are. And you will also, with that remembrance, will come up your infinite capacity to love. And that love can then heal so much pain in your heart, in your mind, and even make your body shine and do the best it can. Now, in this part of my global satsang, I want to talk about a couple of dharmic values that are connected to this word called love or prema in Sanskrit. And so to begin with, prema is different from raga. That's one thing you should know, what love is not. Sometimes in human case, we have an intense attachment to someone, a yearning for someone. So we have to now think about it, that if there is so much attachment for someone, that means you're not connected to the self in you. You are really being attracted to yourself in them. So first come back from that intense yearning, intense attachment, which we call crush or infatuation in English. It's really nothing but you seeking your own self, but not in this unit where it's most closely accessible, but in someone else. And would you agree that usually, because you have to also encounter not just their self, but that person's mind or that person's personality and their relatives, it's not easy encounter. So the safest way to experience love is more closely within you. And one way is to simply close your eyes or to meditate or even to remember, love is in me, love is my nature. That's so helpful. Then you can go out with that person, go to a movie, do what you want to do, but it will not be from what is known as raga or intense delusory attachment. Then you can remember that, the self in me and the self in them is common. That is what is attracting me. But then you will be able to take better judicious decisions. Is this person's habits or personality suiting me? Is this person's profession dharmic enough for me to hang out with them? Is this person, or should I just love them, differently from the 4 ways I have taught in the prior session? So one is, don't think that just because it's an intense infatuation, it is the height of divine love. You have to have some discernment. That will be helpful. Now let us look at how can you be really practicing self-love for yourself, and the core value in this one is return to simplicity. What does this mean? In Sanskrit, it means amanitvam and adambitvam. It really means when you are who you are, don't be different things for different people. The best way is to be who you are, the way the divine powers have. You are the divine power according to Advaita Vedanta, but the point is the way you are in this whole setting. A daffodil practices self-love by being a daffodil and not a wannabe rose. And we are caught up in this. So one is be who you are and learn to have loving, flowery, aromatic boundaries around who you are. Not swords and pistols. And remind people to come back to it. For example, in this past few months, I've been traveling a lot. The last 2.5 months, I've gone to 4 countries over these past 2 months. And so we had to eat out a lot, and we were living in hotels in many places, except for once when I was at a beautiful ashram. But apart from that, we were eating out a lot, and there was all kinds of stimulation. So I now have one more travel to another country coming up. And I recently told my partner, I said, can we investigate canceling that? Because I'm a person who likes to eat in a disciplined way, quiet food, Ayurvedic food, and I like to have my own routine of waking up in the morning, certain disciplines, puja, prayer, quietness, solitude. So now I'm noticing that it's a bit building up for me. If I may still go, if I cannot cancel or whatever, those logistics, don't worry about it. But the point is, come back to who you are. Ask for what you need. Live the life you want to. And if you have a partner, say my partner says, oh no, I want to go to the discotheque every day. Well then, one way we'll come to how to accommodate other people. You don't have to go along with that person. You can cheerfully say, have fun, honey. And when they come back home, say, hope you had fun, honey, because I surely had fun being who I am. Really be simple. One way is that way. We are often asked to celebrate ourselves, but then we're like, okay, maybe I should have a Facebook profile that looks a certain way, and I should wear a certain shawl a certain way. All that can be fine. I'm not against it. But the point is, are you speaking and living your truth? Without vanity, without false coverings, really trying to give yourself that is really beautiful. That's one way to self-love. How do you practice? So these are that core value of simplicity, returning to your own truth. That's really great. Now the next one would be, what are the 2 core Dharmic values to deal with people? What are the 2 loving values that you can offer to people who are being hurtful, who are maligning you? And the core value that the entire Vedic India is about, that even Lord Buddha then took it further, Jainism, Mahavira took it further, was ahimsa. And the next value is kshanti, not shanti, which means peace, kshanti with a K, K-S-H-A-N-T-I, which means accommodation. Let me tell you. If ahimsa, if you are in a state of self-love, do you want to hurt anyone? Do you want to hurt a fly? You don't. When you are flowing in that state of love, you are leading your own life. Let others be leading their own life. You have to take a vow of ahimsa. which means you will not verbally attack them, you will not physically attack them, and if you want to take your act further, your spiritual journey further, you will also not mentally attack them. Every time you want to mentally attack, you will say, I send you loving thoughts towards greater enlightenment. May you find the light. You are not in the light. May you find the light. May you, who has the same self as me but a different apparatus of mind and body, may you find the light. So when we practice ahimsa, we are changing the universe. We don't know this. We are so sweet on the face. We write nice emails, but we think violent thoughts. Our violent thoughts, they are the subtlest and the most powerful. They get heard by the other person because the self is same. Because the self is same, there are no secrets in this universe. Because the self is same, what you deeply think about that person becomes their reality. Now, you might think, why was Buddha attacked by his own brother? Did Buddha have violent thoughts? You can think that. Did Jesus have violent thoughts towards the people who threw stones at him? You can think that. That's not true. Lord Krishna has explained in the Bhagavad Gita that when we come in this universe, especially on planet Earth, the Bhuloka, there are two kinds of people. There are some very sleepwalking, unconscious people, and there are some enlightened people. So no worries about the enlightened people, the awake people, the conscious people. There are some sleepwalking people. And in the beginning, they might throw stones at you. They might throw a rock at you. They might come and hurt you. Now the whole universe is saying, how are you going to react? See, because they're unconscious anyway. You are the one who is conscious or wants to be on the conscious plane. How are you going to react? So did Lord Buddha, when he was about to, when his cousin was trying to kill him, did his brother think that? Did Lord Buddha say, peace to everyone, and then think a nasty thought toward his brother? No, Lord Buddha must have said, the self, myself in my brother's body is still asleep. His mind is brutally unconscious. Oh, I send him loving compassion. Oh, I send him loving compassion. This is how you become a Buddha. You don't become a Buddha by saying, well, my 20 other students are very nice, but this one brother of mine is conniving against me. He would never have become a Buddha. That also doesn't mean that Buddha said, to his brother, I give you compassion, but he didn't say, come sit on my throne. He didn't say, you are the Buddha, because he wanted to be the Buddha. Buddha remained Buddha, but he experienced compassion for him, non-violent thoughts for him. We don't know what happened with his brother's soul, but I do know what happened with a prince called Siddhartha's soul. He became the Buddha. So you make non-violent thoughts as important as your breakfast in the morning. You never forget your breakfast. Don't forget this value. And the Vedas have reassured you, don't worry if your first thought is again violent, because it's coming from habit. Your first few thoughts may be violent, but the moment you think a non-violent thought, you make a change. Sooner or later, you will be sitting on the lotus of love. That's all I know. That's all I know. And the second, it's a sister value, is after being non-violent, what do you do with them? What should you do with somebody who's like busy wanting to hurt you with their jibes and them? You can show them the boundaries. I already talked about it earlier. But the point is, what do you do with them internally? Will you accommodate them? The earth, Mother Earth accommodated you despite your learning curves. The sun accommodated you despite your learning curves. The river accommodates you. The wind accommodates you. You're the only one who just can't accommodate one certain person or one certain, emotionally. I'm fine with showing somebody yes or no, But then internally, you have to accommodate people's ugliness, stupidness, darkness, and even evilness. If you want to sit on the lotus of love. That's what it is. Because the moment you accommodate, ahimsa and kshanti are the two love values that you offer to people who at this point don't seem worthy of your love. But at least you can practice ahimsa, conscious ahimsa. You can make it a practice. And if you have someone who's really, really bothering you, every day you draw their body in your journal and you offer them a love sign with ahimsa and a love sign with kshanti, KSHNTI, or non-violence and accommodation. And write in your journal non-violent thoughts about them. And accommodate them. You don't know how much your boundless self can accommodate. You don't know this, but you can. But when you're unable to accommodate, when people, I'm not able to accommodate, they're really not operating from their self, they're operating from the mind. And I'm telling you this today, and you might not like it, and you can write things in the comment box that you're upset, but even if someone has hurt you a lot, you have to study deeper with me. If you want to be moving forward in love and experiencing love, you don't condone them, but think you don't have to like make it all pretty or pretend like they didn't do what they did. But you can now think non-violent thoughts. I have an uncle who was emotionally abusive, not just to me, but a lot of kids in my household. We all lived in a big family. And I've often talked about him, bless his soul. I'm actually friends with him. I don't have any issue going on. These are my thoughts for him. Oh, self in my uncle, who has emotionally hurt me so much. Thank you for showing me what happens when we emotionally, verbally abuse other people. Oh, self in uncle, may you realize how tender the hearts are of little children. Probably your heart as a little child was hurt by someone. Oh, self in uncle, may you with each increasing day realize that the loneliness that you now experience when no one visits you, no one calls you, is because you blocked the love for them and the love for you. May you find the way to the Lord of love waiting inside you. Oh, self and uncle, if not in this lifetime, may the Supreme Power Ishvara over the next few lifetimes fill you with love, fill you with joy. I shall meet you again, because I am meeting me again and again in so many bodies. Through you, uncle, I realized the part that I had to work on. To stand up and not take emotional abuse, but not get bitter also. To not hurt another. People say I have a pleasant speech. I do, because I know what unpleasant speech is. Oh self, you are teaching me lessons through dark and light. May I remain pure, lotus-like. Thank you. This might be an intense satsang. I try to make it funny, but I have to be me, right? I can make it light, but I have to be me. That is the way I practice self-love. I'm a strange teacher, right? Teaching intense things in a public satsang, talking about a personal uncle. That's me. I practice self-love. When you practice self-love, your me becomes very big, like the universe. Then you don't take permissions. You're not apologetic. You're truly celebrating yourself. When you practice non-violence and its sister value, accommodation, you're not doing anybody a favor. You're just working with how the universe has been accommodating you. You're behaving in a beautiful, loving way. And if you want to then know yourself truly, then here are the values that you have to accommodate according to the Bhagavad Gita. I'm teaching you from the Bhagavad Gita. Then you have to go to an Acharya. It could be me, it could be another person, it doesn't matter. Acharya Upasanam. Upasana means Upa-asana. Like you are sitting. Upa means close, asana, sit. Sit with your teacher. Sit. Upasanam. To achieve what? To receive the knowledge of Upanishad. Shad, the word means which destroys your ignorance. Ni means Nishchyatmak Jnanam, through very clear, stable knowledge. Not floating knowledge, feel good knowledge. Let's do a couple of ohms and we're done. No. Deep, deep knowledge. Upa, that brings you close to who you are, love. So at the value, it's a value in the Dharma. It's like go deeper, descend into the truth of love. Upanishad. Acharya Upasana, this is a value. People think Upasana means pray to the Acharya, like let's worship the Acharya. You can worship an Acharya. I don't mind if some of you want to make me your God. That's okay, fine, that is fun. But the point is, the God is in you. So it's like a time waste. And the way if you can respect the teacher, that's enough. If you can learn from the teacher, that is better. If you can love the teacher, as long as it's a projection of love away from you. A true teacher will take you back to you. And the teacher, the next value would be Shaucham, where you start purifying. You fill your mind with love thoughts. And the love thoughts are like when a tiger shows up, all the little animals scurry away, right? In the same way, when the love tiger shows up, all the little animals of envy and smallness and pettiness will run away. If love can come in, it can fix a lot of things. Recently, I was upset with someone. It was not a wrong upset. And it was very right. I had to set a boundary. So I set a boundary. After that, I kept meditating on the love in me and the self in you. It's pure love. And I love you also, apart from the boundary I have shown you. And as I kept meditating on this love, 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 it's filled with love. Then I was speaking to this person again. And this person said the following to me. They said, Shunya, you've not spoken to me in days on such and such topic. I have not done anything but experience love. But they said, you know what? But I feel your love. Experience your love. And here is what I'm looking at, what I need to look at, what I need to fix. I want to take responsibility. And thank you for showing me the boundary. So when you are in a state of love, your love thoughts have more power than your anger thoughts, your jealousy thoughts, your critical thoughts. They might be needed. Like you want to criticize, not someone, but you might want to give them a constructive critique. But love is a state of soulful acceptance, non-violence, accommodation, understanding, a comprehensive acceptance, a wholeness. And non-violence and accommodation help us, but then Acharya will teach us purity, Shocha. They will teach us the next value, which is Thairyam. Become steady in a state of love. Your love goes away when somebody is honking on the horn too much. The state of love abides. And finally, the value, which I'm not going into details, I'm just giving you an idea how we study, how we become who we are, is Atma Vinigraha, which is you become knower of your Atma. You become knower of that love within you. This happens through a teacher's path, but the beginning path you can do without a teacher. And what is the first one? Self-love through simplicity, being who you are, softly being that person, don't giving in too much, really strengthening that part of you, allowing that to blossom, not just going along to keep up a marriage, to please a boss, to keep up with the in-laws. Do what you can with them, but at the same time, see where you need to come back to you. Your specialness, who are you? And then with others, there are twin values, and that is non-violence and accommodation. Make them very important. And if you have a teacher, then go take a seat with them, learn about inner purity of thoughts and emotions, shocham, learn how to become steady so that you're not distracted, and learn how to connect with love inside you. So, final question that I want to address is, how do I accept myself as I am? There's a lot of talk on radical self-acceptance. There are two parts to it. I don't teach things like radical self-acceptance without teaching what is the self. Because it sounds really nice. It gives everybody a sigh of relief to accept yourself. But then now I'm going to play with your mind a little. How can you not accept yourself? Actually, you are accepting yourself. I would say accept more of yourself. Here's what I have to say. I don't say radically accept yourself as you are. Here's what I say. I accept all of you. So what this means is, there is a part of you that is still learning, accept that. There is a part of you that is learned, accept that. And there is a part of you that needs no learning, no teaching. It's pure love, accept that. Accept all of you. That is what I would say. Because if I say accept yourself, then say you need to go take a shower, you can say, I'll accept myself as I am. So there's a little bit of I know when the teachers are saying accept yourself, they're not talking at that level, but the ignorant minds can misinterpret it. So I like to say accept all of you. Accept the part of you, the mind, that is finding its way and gets caught up in not loving itself and not loving the other. But why not, after this satsang, accept that part of you that is pure love, that has known about love from childhood, that has known about love as a baby, that has used love to give love as a baby and to attract people to itself, that has in moments of pure love done amazing acts of generosity. How can you bring more love into your everyday life through that hidden part of you? How can you meditate more upon it? How can you sing to it? How can you serenade it? How can you be more of you in your daily life? Because, for example, my student is sitting in front of me. If I were only meeting you as that part of me that is unsure about love, but your encounter may be that there is a part of me that's very self-assured about love. My love for me, my love for you, my love for all beings. There is a part of us that's fully assured. There's a part of us that's learning. This is the shadow of love. This is true love, the self. Meet people like this. Don't just meet people like this. As a teacher, my reminder to you is, you are love. Don't chase it. Don't become a slave of it if people make you beg for it. Don't get angry if people don't show it to you. Flow love, and in due course, you shall find love exponentially come back to you. Let it flow, enjoy. So accept all parts of yourself. This will allow you to have the journey that I had, where I was confused, I was being manipulative in love without knowing it, using people as a tool of love. I would even say to my father, if you don't bring me what I want, I don't love you. I remember that as an 8-year-old. And he would laugh. But as a father, he loved me whether I visited him or not. He loved me whether I respected him or not. He loved me whether I got good grades in school or not. He showed me what is love. And then my grandfather, my Baba, my teacher told me that love that your father is showing you, which is steadfast, which is not demanding, which is not threatening, which is not withdrawn at a whim and given at a pleasure, but is there for you. That love dwells inside you. So this was my third journey. I remember once my uncle, who liked to find faults in everybody, complained to my father about me. She doesn't do this, she doesn't listen, she's not doing, she's too proud, she's this, that, I don't know. My father said, but you are an uncle, you're like a father. When a child is learning to walk, it falls down. We don't say you're bad, we just give another hand and we help the child walk. She's only 12-year-old. She's learning how to be a young girl. She's learning about emotions, feelings, speech. If she has spoken something that doesn't work for you, you don't have to judge her right away. Give her an emotional hand and speak to her in such a way that she learns. So this was an encounter with my father. And that was an encounter with my uncle. It was not until I learned that the self in me and my uncle is the same, could I actually be in a state of love with him too. And I have a good relationship with him now. We have talked about these things. And I don't have to do this to him. I could just be who I am. So I shared with him how his speech and his behavior had stunted my growth. They had hurt me. And he looked at it and he just became quiet and a tear came down and we were done. We were done. Soft boundaries, loving boundaries, love for all. With that, I close my satsang. We have 30 minutes for you to ask questions. I will be right back for your questions. This is a great time to write them in case you have not written them as yet. And if you are leaving now but you're feeling somehow blessed with a greater idea about love, then do write love, love, love before you go. All right? Take care. Welcome back, and now we will take your questions.
Jai Ma Acharya Shunya. I am Chandra. We have a few questions from the viewers. The first question is, I feel I've never been loved by my mother. I'm now caring for her in her aging. She favors my brother, who is a criminal. How do I love her for real?
Great question. If you've listened to the entire satsang, then I will use certain words that will help you understand. And if you're just joining in, then I would suggest going back and listening to the entire satsang, because I'll be referring to certain concepts which will become clear. So to answer your question, I have to go back to explaining a concept called samsara. And this is how the whole tradition of the Vedas, all the texts are in Q&A, because the teacher gives some knowledge, then the student asks a question, then we give some knowledge. And so it's the nature of the question that helps unfold the knowledge. So it's not like a monologue from the teacher. So there's something called a samsara, and the samsara is frothing and fuming in the cosmos and in our mind. But it is what is referred to as, for some reason, and we don't know why, there's a door and it's locked and we don't know. And there's no stories that the Vedas created. The Vedas didn't create the story of, someone creating us and, we're there. It's like, God, there's God, and then God created us, and now we're all there. There is a mention of God, but in the later texts called Puranas. But the deeper teachings, the deepest teachings, which is contained in the Upanishads, actually say, oh my God, we don't know why we're here. We're stuck. On top of that, it's really clear that we are all being stuck again and again. The same self is taking different bodies and minds and different stories. And this is going on, and there are three constants. And the constants are that there is transience, change, everything changes. There is suffering and there is death. And I can't escape this. This is samsara. Samsara literally is like that which is constantly moving. And I seem to be coming back again and again to play different roles with the same people who are playing different roles. And apparently they have figured it out, that the Aptas figured it out, that there's a law of karma. We don't know when this whole story started, but at some point it started, and based on how I behave with you or you in answering this question, we're gonna get to play this again, and you're gonna get to be good or nice to me, real or deceptive to me, loving or non-loving to me, and we're stuck. And the only way to get out of this samsara is to have enlightened knowledge about the self, and to treat even this mother with, if nothing else, the knowledge that though her mind is ignorant and plays and has biases and plays plays games between the children and is demanding and needy, when this woman didn't take care of me when I was a child and needy, yet this is a whole game in samsara, and I get to change this relationship by how conscious I become. It's like my uncle. He is needy, he doesn't have children, now he calls me, and he knows that nobody will be there except me when he is taking his last breath. He knows it, because I'm the only one who will happily go. Why? Because I'm changing my relationship with that part of me in that difficult body, mind, in this lifetime now. I got this. You got a chance to work with this rejecting mother in this lifetime by taking care of dharma, duty. Now, I like the word dharma. It doesn't have any unnecessary things attached to it, like being overly sweet, candy-like, cuteness. It just means, yeah, I got it. In this lifetime, as a child, if a mother rejects me, this means I have rejected this entity, this part of me as this entity. In some lifetime, I'm understanding the pain. I can now offer this care from a greater place of knowingness. That's one way. I hope that helps all of you. Number two, let's look at it. Now that you're a grown person, as a child I couldn't talk to you, but as a grown person I can tell you that if my mother loves me, I will take care of her. If my mother didn't love me, now I won't take care of her. That is the love of the mother as a tool. You can love the mother. Love is a state of a soul accommodation. I can love the mother for all her follies, her confusions, her ignorance, her blind spots, because she's another confused, vulnerable being passing through samsara. A third way to love is the self in me dwells in her. I love myself. And as you love yourself, the more knowledge of self, it will flow out and you will be able to accommodate her. So I hope all these answers will help you. The knowledge of samsara is not to scare you, but the Buddhists, all the religions and spiritual thought coming out of India were very realistic. So be it the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Jainas, they were very clear. They didn't make up any fancy story of us reaching heaven or anything. You're like, you're stuck and you're not going to get out of this. And you're going to meet the same people again and again and again. So the sooner you can find a teacher, a human body, because then you have a human mind to be self-aware, a teacher, stick with a teacher, get the knowledge, clean up your acts, and start coming from pure awareness, pure love, pure dharma, and enlightenment is the only way to get out of the samsara trap. In the samsara trap, You'll find people who love you and reject you, push you and pull you, seduce you and manipulate you. And even if you find ultra nice people all along, you still cannot, you will lose them by death or decay and transience, and they will be suffering. So, not a lot of good news, but at least it's real.
Thank you, Acharya Shunya. The second question, how do we not feel resentful for loving and accommodating them?
I think I have answered you. Yeah.
I believe so too.
Do it with dharma and do it with the knowledge that you are finishing a story and starting a new one. Remember the laws that I shared with you. Give first.
Question number 3. How are fear and anger related to love?
Fear and anger are related to love from the perspective that they are representing the loss of love within you. When love comes, no matter what fear you're dealing with, it subsides. I've met people, I've counseled people who are in the last stages of their life. They are facing death, or they're facing the death of a loved one. But when they start getting knowledge of the self, its immortalness, its boundlessness, and how love is an option, they face it. There's no fear left. Everything is transitory. Soul and love are eternal. When everything goes away, love remains. It's like fire, it's like anger and grief and all these other emotions are like clouds. Love is the sky. When the clouds come up too much, you can't see the sky, but the sky is still there. But when we clean up these emotions that come from emotion, attachments and aversions, when you don't get what you want, and say there is a kind of anger which is legitimate. What's the anger for legitimate? Dharmic anger, where you're protecting something right for the majority of people. Or there is grief after a loss. And you truly grieve that. After a while, the crying goes away, love remains. So love is your base nature, shall I say that?
Question number 4. How does sadhana support our sustainability in loving our true self? How can we overcome our deep conditioning of shame and guilt of the self?
By listening to more satsangs. Guilt and shame to love yourself, because you only think that you are the body and the mind. And the body and the mind are, to begin with, transient, imperfect. You're going to get a new one based on the one you need in the next lifetime. Sometimes I get a pain here, twitch there, and I think, yeah, well, 15, 20 more years in the story, get a new body soon. Big deal. So too much identification with your character as a body, as a personality. That's what fills you with guilt and shame. But all the relatives belong to the body, all the people who shamed you connected to the body. Love of self makes you, in a nice way, shameless, spiritually shameless. I would say that there is no easy answer to it, but I would say that the more you can be in satsang, sat means truth of the self, sang means its company, the more you can read books like, teachings on the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and just hear it. Don't try and work too hard on guilt and shame, because they're not really holding you. You're holding on to it. They're going to just disappear. Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit more about how sadhana supports our sustainability in loving our true self?
Sadhana is needed for everything. Even if you want to pass a CPA exam, you need sadhana. So sadhana is what? Sadhana is what? It connects the it connects you to the sadhya, which is the goal, through a sadhanam, which is the tool. So you do need some kind of sadhana. So one sadhana helps you remember. Like you can listen to this satsang, feel very good for the next 10 minutes. In 15 minutes down the road, something else will occupy your mind. And you will forget that, when I was listening to this teacher, basically I was listening to myself in this body called Acharya Shunya. Myself was talking to me and reminding me of what I need to remember. So who is the teacher? Teacher is nothing else but your own teacher self. Okay. So Baba told me once, Baba said, I am just you. I am just, 20 years ahead of you. That's all. So I really love that. He really removed that barrier between teacher and student. And he just said, the same self, That helps me benefit from him. Like, myself in my Baba body is telling me what to do. And the self in my uncle body is telling me what not to do. So it's really fun, a lot of learning. So sadhana is needed. And so sadhana, the best sadhana right now is, you could, after listening to this satsang, make your own mantras. You could say, the self in me lives in every being. And the self in me is pure love. And I can afford to flow pure love towards all beings while being clear on certain pragmatic realities. But love doesn't need, the sky doesn't need boundaries. It doesn't need a visa to enter America or India. The sky is the same for everyone. So in the same way, the love between us is flowing. Keep working on that. Develop some sadhanas. One sadhana could be to listen to even this satsang, once a month for the rest of your life, if this satsang has any value for you. So sadhana is what repetitions you can do so that it becomes a part of your mind's fabric. Otherwise the mind is very quick, it is agile and gets quickly moved on to new things. But if any of my teaching is important to you, then you can pick up some sadhana and strengthen it. That's what I would say to you.
The next question. You talked about setting healthy boundaries with people who have harmed you. How do you confront the people or person or speak your truth about your boundaries without doing harm to them?
It's the same, I've answered this. You have to contemplate upon the value of non-violence and ahimsa. And if you want to know more, you should go to my teachings on Bhagavad Gita. You should find them and listen to them, and you should listen to other teachers from the Vedic tradition who talk about ahimsa and kshanti, accommodation. And once you have, and also spend some time remembering that your self is pure love and it is the same self in the person who you're going to confront. So then there are chances that your thoughts, before you can prevent your hand from hitting them or your legs from kicking them or your speech hurling bad things on them, you have to change your thoughts about them. So if you want to confront someone, let's change that word. How about you just want to bring somebody in alignment with what you feel is a more loving way to be. That word itself, confront, you can change that word. I'd like to bring in I'd like to have a dialogue with the person so that I can come back to simplicity of who I am. They may see it, they may not see it, I'll give them a chance. They may not be able to see it if they don't have a teacher, if they don't attend satsang, they may not be able to see it, but sooner or later they will. Because this is another teaching of the seers and the apta, that everyone will become enlightened. And let me share with you something that will bring you instant compassion. In the samsara, we are being born again and again in different bodies. Human body, fungi body, dog body, cat body, crocodile body, and Chinese body, African body, Indian body, Tahitian body, body from the Bahamas, all kinds of bodies we are being born. Countless millions of lifetimes you are having, because because you are coexisting in all these bodies. Okay, so it's not sequential. You're coexisting. Now, that means, this is beautifully said by the Shastra, by the teachings, that means every living being has at some time been your mother or father, given birth to you, or been an ancestor to you. You are related to this whole world. Now, if somebody is acting out, they are not understanding you, you may have sometimes we start putting boundaries, but we get so bound up because of them. That you want to avoid. You just want to tell them, look, this is possible, this is not possible. I will be able to, support you, or I'll be able to not support you in this. But the messaging itself will come in a non-violent way, because you've done non-violent thoughts, like they are ignorant, they are not evil. If they were really that smart and that lucky, they would be myself would be having an experience in Buddha's body. Compared to Buddha, or compared to Mahavira, or compared to Shankaracharya, we are all blumbering fools. But they showed compassion to us, so we should learn from them. They didn't say, oh, you get out of my way, you behave like this. And no, we are all accommodating, and this is a classroom of the self in various bodies. Next question.
So there are no more questions, but I just wanted to say thank you, Acharya Shunya, for these teachings. And for all of you listening, to stay in touch with Acharya Shunya, you can join her on her Vedic Contemplation Facebook group. And for her live teachings, visit acharyashunya.com.
Thank you, Chandra. And thank you, everyone. The business of love is not so complicated. When you close your eyes, even for a minute, you feel rested, don't you? Love emerges from within to greet you. The path to enlightenment begins with a leap of faith. Have this leap of faith in what I'm telling you and what the Upanishads are saying. Love lives inside you. Don't waste your human life fighting petty battles. You will encounter you in different bodies and minds, behaving in ways, giving back to you certain negative karmas. If you truly want to be an enlightened being, a happy being, a whole being, and also get a ticket out of this samsara puppet theater, then you might want to act from consciousness, respond from love, clarity, simplicity, honesty, non-violently, accommodating at a deep, deep level, while putting some boundaries at an outer level. With all my love, I will see you in my next Global Satsang in March. Take care.